The 1st of July, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay. So, we're discussing the view of Abaya, really. Abaya said, Chayshin and Shema Milva Yeshana Yeshloi. Olaf. Meaning that that's the case of the Mishnah, and that's the reason why he's not chashid on Mammon, and therefore he would, yes, make a shvua. And the Gemora said, if that's the case, though, he wouldn't need to make a shvua. Then the Gemora said, no, he's not, it's not, yeah, the difference between these two is granted not so clear. First, the Gemara says, Chayshinen, we are Choshesh, Shema, maybe, Milva Yeshana Yeshlu Alav. He has an old loan. Then the Gemara adjusted it and said, Chayshinen Shema Safik Milva. So the difference is the person himself is not even sure whether he has an old outstanding loan with this person. He on that, the Gemara said, if that's the case that we're talking about, because we can't be talking about the case where he knows he's got a loan against him, because on that, the Gemara said that he wouldn't make a shvua in that case. Wouldn't be no need to make a shvua. We would divide it without making a shvua, the talis. On that, the Gemara says, no, he's not sure. He thinks maybe he's got an outstanding loan. Then the Gemara said, oh, but if that's so, Lava Marina and Toughest Mamona Misfeka, Mishtabanami Misafik. If he's prepared to grab onto somebody else's talis just based upon a possibility that the person owes him money, in other words, if he has such little regard for the Isser of Gezel that he's willing to grab onto the talis and claim it, even though he's not even sure that he has any part of it, because he's not owed anything at all in any case. So then, how much is a shvua worth? He'd also be willing to make a shvua, even though he doesn't really know whether or not he's owed money. That's the way the Gemara puts it. And so, if so, then that shvua is not the type of a shvua that we're going to accept from a person like that. And that can't explain, that would not be an explanation, a valid explanation to explain why the Mishnah is saying that they both got to swear. Okay, so that brings us up to Amar Rav Sheshis. So we're up to Rav Sheshis. He's going to resolve this difficulty the Gemara is in right now. And we call upon Roy to continue the reading.
Omar Rav Sheshis, Rav Idi. Rav Sheshis, the son of Rav Idi, said, Bereshi. Mispak, Shavua, Below, Parshi, Pashay, Mispak, Mimona. Rav Sheshis, the son of Rav Idi, said, there are people who will withdraw from taking a doubtful oath, but will not withdraw from taking doubtful money. Why? What's the reason for this difference in attitude? Mon ite money taken improperly can be returned. Shavua the say that an oath once uttered cannot be recalled.
Okay, so let's see. Do we have a Rashi over here? Yeah. Velo parshe misafik mamona. Let's read this Rashi before we explain this statement of Reb Sheshes.
Parsha, Safek Mamona. He doesn't withdraw from if he has a doubt of money. Aval Modai
Mivadai
Mivadai Bimamona Parse who may eat Delo Harish Hashid Nami Ashbo Asa. But Modai, he admits?
No, it's the word is vadai as opposed to suffix.
Oh, mivade, from certainty that the money what's parse?
He'll withdraw. He'll back off.
He'll withdraw. May ain the low Paris. He will not withdraw.
The one who does not withdraw.
Kashid Nami from his oath. What's Kashid?
Who's suspect?
He will not withdraw when he's suspect also of an oath.
Okay, what Rashi's talking about over here is as follows. Rashi's not explaining anything about what the Gemora itself says, actually. Rashi's talking about the other case. There's two cases over here that we're talking about in this Gemora. We're talking about a case of Badai, and we're talking about a case of Suffolk. So if the Rav Shesh's answer over here, Alan, are you there? Here, we'll mute him. Rav Shesh's answer essentially is that, look, when it comes to a guy who thinks that maybe this person who has this talus owes him money, Rav Shesh's answer basically was, yeah, he won't back off. He'll grab it and he'll claim that it's his in order to get his money, which he's not even sure that he's owed. But that very same person, even though he's willing to do that in regard to money, but he's not willing to do it in regard to making a shvua that the talus is his, based upon the fact that maybe the guy owes him money. And the Gemora said there's a big difference, because money, if it turns out that it becomes clarified that the guy really didn't ever owe him any money, or he paid it up or whatever it was, and he's got no right to hold on to the talus, so he could desist from, he can back off. In other words, he could back off. He could give it up, right? But in the case of a shvua, you can't take back a false shvua. You can't say, "Oh, made a mistake. Shouldn't have made that shvua. Sorry." No, person's not going to do that. Person knows that he's not sure. He's going to back off. That's what the Gemora is assuming, and this is the reason why, in this case, even though a person doesn't know for a fact that he's owed the money, he's willing to grab onto the talus. So then we put a shvua on him, because we know that unless he's really sure that he's owed the money, he's going to back off, and that's why we impose the shvua. And we're not worried that he's going to, just like he grabbed onto the talus, even though he doesn't know whether he's owed any money at all, he'll also make a shvua, even though he doesn't know whether he's really owed any money at all. No, he's not going to make a shvua unless he's 100% sure that he's owed money. That's Rav Shesh's answer. So what Rashi is focusing on is not what Rav Sheshes said, but what we said before. Rashi's, in other words, we're talking about the case where it's a case of vadai. In the case of vadai, Rashi says, before we got to Rav Sheshes, Rashi is saying aval, but in the case of vadai moment, where, in other words, he knows that he doesn't really own any of it, and he knows that the guy doesn't owe him any money. There's nothing he's just trying to chaperine over here, let's say, and take something that doesn't belong to him. In such a case like that, he's going to be porish. He's not gonna, if it gets to the he's gonna back off. He's going to back off. From claiming, from grabbing onto this talus, and this that we see that he didn't back off, and he's grabbing onto that talus. If it would, in such a case like that he knows that it's not his, he for sure would be chashid on shvua. So we're going back to the original cloud that we said before. Someone who's chashid on mammon, meaning mammon that he knows is not his, and he's nevertheless going after it and grabbing on, and he's trying to get it, but he knows it's not his. Such a person like that is chashid on, he's chashid on mammon. That's a person who's chashid on mammon. And he, says Rashi, according to Rav Sheshes, would also be chashid on shvua. We wouldn't give him a shvua like that. We wouldn't give him a shvua. So Rav Sheshes is subscribing to the rule that we've been trying to defend for the last Amud over here in the Gemora. That the rule is that somebody who's chashid on mammon, that he knows it doesn't belong to him, and he's nevertheless going after it, he will also be chashid on shvua. We would also suspect that he's going to make a shvua, a false shvua, even though he knows that he's got no case. And so in other words, a person like that that's not the case that the Mishnah is talking about, because the Mishnah is talking about giving two guys a shvua. So that cannot be the case where he's grabbing on, even though not only does he doesn't know that he's owed any money, and he doesn't have any possibility of thinking that the guy owes him any money either. No, that's not the case that the Mishnah is talking about. And we've defended our klal that chashid on mammon is in fact chashid on shavua. And what's the Mishnah talking about? It's talking about a case where he's a suffix whether the guy owes him money. Is not sure. So in that case, Rav Sheshes is saying the same thing again. So we got the whole thing. If you didn't get it the first time, you get it the second time. In that case, even though he won't back off from grabbing onto the talus, this is the guy. That's the case of the Mishnah. Nevertheless, we do give him a shvua. Why? Because we're confident that he will back off in the case of making a shvua in that case, unless he's 100% sure he's not going to make a shvua. Okay, so that wraps up this sugya. And now we go further in the Gemora. We're up to Boy Reb Zera. Boy Reb Zera, it's at the end of the two dots, middle of the page, last few words of the line. Alan, would you like to read for us? Phil is here, but he's not here. Hopefully he'll come soon.
The last three lines.
I just never turned on, so I've been here all along. I just hadn't turned the mic on.
Okay, so you got the next Rashi.
Yeah, I would have had that Rashi too, but I don't know. Sorry.
Alan, you're
Different buttons.
Alan, you're muted. You're muted. Turn on your microphone. We cannot hear you. You're still muted. Now you're okay.
Okay.
All right, we're on the. Did you want Alan to read now?
Yes, Alan,
Okay.
you want to read for us? Amar Reb Zera.
The last three lines on
Boy Reb Zera.
the last three lines on the left-hand page, 6A2.
682?
Yes, the last three lines on the left-hand column. The Gemara discusses a development.
Last three lines, what? Oh.
6A2.
Okay, okay. The Gemara discusses the development of our Mishnah's case. The two litigants come before the court holding onto a cloak.
Yeah.
For Zera. Reb Zera asked to court for and court before Nenu, if one of them snatched the cloak from the other before us, the judges, as that he is holding it. What is the law? Do we allow him to keep the whole cloak, or do we take it from him for division between the litigants?
Okay, that's the question. So they come in holding the talus together, and then at some point, one of them grabs it away from the other, and now we got one of them is holding the talus completely by himself. So Reb Zera wants to know what's the din in that case. Is it going to be the same din as the case of the Mishnah, or is it going to be a different din? So we got we have a Rashi over here for Phil. Takfa echad.
One of them grabbed it, attacked it, so to speak. Hotzi miyad chavero. He took it from the hand of his friend. The chazaka, forcefully. The harakulo b'yado. Now it's all in his hand. Kodem shenishvo before they came to swear.
Right. So this was all done before they swore. And now Reb Zera wants to know what's the Bezdin got to do now? Okay, we go back to the Gemora, and the Gemora has a question though. Hey Kidami, back to Roy.
Okay, dummy. What are the circumstances in which it would be questioned?
Yeah.
The shatik, if he, that's the one from whom the cloak was taken,
Okay, it's okay.
Fine.
It's good.
that is
Thank you very much. Yeah, my family are the kids and
he has in effect admitted to the other that the cloak is his.
That's all property you have?
He, Daka, surveyor, and if he exclaimed in protest, may have they the Mevad, what more should he have done? Thus, either way, whether he was silent or whether he protested, the answer to Reb Zera's inquiry is obvious. No?
So in other words, the Gemara is asking, we don't understand Reb Zera's question. What's his question, Bichlal? Maman of Shach. It all depends on the response that the one that's not holding the talus now. What's he do based upon the fact that the other guy grabbed it away from him? If he's silent, we'll say, oh, the reason that he's silent is because he's now finally admitted that the talus belongs to the other guy. So now everybody goes home. That's the end of it. Finished. Or if the guy starts screaming and saying, hey, what are you doing? You can't do that. So then we know that he's, then the Gemara says, my hevelem mevad. What do you want the poor guy to do? He was trying his best to hold on to it, and the other guy grabbed it away from him. Why should that have any effect whatsoever on the din of the Mishnah? The din of the Mishnah should be exactly the same. Doesn't matter one bit. If so then the Gemara says, so we don't know what Reb Zera is asking. What's he asking? The two possibilities that we can come up with, the resolution is obvious. On that, the Gemara says, Lo tzricha. Let's, Louis, you want to read the Gemara further? Lo tzricha.
No, it's needed. Shasik me ikara, where he was silent initially, v'hadar tavach,
Right.
and then he exclaimed
Right.
Afterwards, what is the law in such a case? Mid ish tik oduya odi lay. Do we say that since he was silent when the cloak was taken from him, he has admitted to the other that the cloak is his? O Dilma be Van Kevan Dika Ta Tavach Ashta. Or maybe we say that since now he is exclaiming Ig Lai Milsa Dahai de Shatik me ikara savar. It is evident that the reason he was silent in the first place is that he thought Aka Chazu le Rabbanan. The rabbis will see what happened. And I don't need to protest. They'll obviously see that that he's wrong.
Yes. Okay. Rashi, Yotze mitachas yado shel echad mehem.
Goes out from under the hand of
That's
Gemora.
weiter in the Gemora, right? Yeah, that's weiter. So that doesn't seem to be any Rashi over here. Now the Gemara has a question. Gemara has a question. He didn't immediately cry out, "Hey, what are you doing?" Initially he was silent, but after a pause, however long the pause is, I don't know. Gemara doesn't say, but subsequent to that, Hadar, says the Gemara, subsequent to his being quiet, initially, Savach, he started screaming. So now we got a question, says the Gemara. What do we make of this guy? What is he? What was he thinking? Why was he originally quiet, and why then only after a while did he start to scream out? So now that's Reb Zera's question, says the Gemara, because Reb Zera was asking in this scenario. Do we say that since the guy initially didn't say anything, he really admitted that it belongs to the other guy, and for some reason, at the end of the day, he cried out because he says, "Oh, but I don't want to lose this case," or whatever it is, or he was whatever. But really, he made an admission. Do we say that that's really what happened? That's the interpretation, or do we say that no? The reason why he was quiet initially is because he says, "Look, the rabbis see that the guy grabbed it away from him. What do I have to do?" They saw that he grabbed it away, and that doesn't prove that he owns it. But then he thought afterwards. He said, "1 second, I better give a protest to the fact that he grabbed it away. Maybe the rabbis are going to think that I'm admitting." So then he jumped up and said, "What are you doing?" So like that, he really never admitted. So that's our question. Okay, Amar Rav Nachman. We go back to Alan. Please unmute, Alan. Alan, are you there? You got to unmute. And then read Amar of Nachman.
Six two eight 682.
683. Very beginning.
Okay. Omar Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman said, Torah Shema, come learn from the following brisa, which qualifies our Mishnah's ruling that the cloak is divided. Bameh the Vorim Amurim. In what circumstances does this ruling apply? Shesh Nahem Dukin Vor. It applies where both litigants are holding on to the cloak. Aval Hansor Talis Yotzes Mitachas Yodo Shel Echod Mehen. But if the cloak is in the possession of only one of them, the following principle applies. Amosi ama mechavero or love hara or yor. The burden of proof rests on the one who seeks to exact property from the possession of his fellow. For example, the cloak is kept by the one who is holding it, unless the other party furnishes proof that the cloak is his.
Okay, so Rav Nachman is bringing a brisa over here, Toshma, and he's coming to bring a proof to one of the two sides that the Gemora entertained over here in the case of Reb Zera. And so this brisa is talking about our Mishnah. When two guys are shnaim ochsim betalis, and the Mishnah says the din is yachloku b'shvua, that they're going to if they both make a shvua, so then we'll divide it. So the brisa asks, b'med devorim amurim, when do we say that's din in the Mishnah? Sheshneim adukim bo, that the both of them are grabbing on strong to the talis. Val if the talus goes out from the hand of one of them, so then doesn't the Brisa doesn't specify what are the circumstances that it went out from under his hand. It just says if it goes out from the hand of one of them. So then the din is a motzi mechaber all over raya. So now the one holding it, he's now the exclusive muhsak, and now the one that is no longer holding it is going to have to bring a raya with witnesses if he wants to take any part of the talus. So on that, the Gemara asks, hey chidami. So in other words, the Gemara says, what is this brisa talking about? Is it talking about our Mishnah, or maybe it's talking about something else? And here we have a Rashi. Yotzet mitachas yado shel echad mihen.
You say he takes it from the hand of one of them. Let's say he took it himself.
Yotzei.
He based in front of for based in mitachad yom achad from the hand of one of them. Who levado because he's the one grabbing it now, Bar, below Chavero, and not his friend. He's like, in a sense, what he's doing is he grabbed it. He's going to based in. See, I'm not holding it.
So the only thing I can see what Rashi's saying is this is taking place lifnei bezdin. This what the Brisa is describing that that the talus went out from the hand of one of them, and now it's only in the hand of the other one. This happened lifnei bezdin. Bezdin saw this. Bezdin was witness to this. Okay, and then in that case, the Gemara says So in that case, the din of the Mishnah is no longer applicable. If that's what happened, so then the Brisa says over here, that guy that had it grabbed away from him, he's now going to have to bring a raya. Here you got a one-word Rashi. Rashi dibra maskil haraya.
The proof is the 80. We need to have witnesses.
The raya is which is the proof is only through witnesses. He's got to bring witnesses that the talus belongs to him. In the absence of that, the bezdin will not give him anything, even if he makes a shvua. The shvua is only shneim adukim bo, that they're both holding on to it. Then the bezdin says, "Oh, you're both holding on to it. Okay, we'll make a chalukah if you both swear." But otherwise, there's no shvua. So now the Gemara asks, "Hey chidami, Is this what the Bryce is talking about? To talk about our Mishnah? Hey, Kidami, what's the case that the Bryce is talking about? We have time? We got 1 minute. Okay. Just say there. So we'll call it here. We're right in the middle of this exciting brisa. So
Thank you, Rabbi.
Everybody have a great day.
Luke, I'll see you tomorrow morning on Zoom.
Okay, Alan. Aslaka Rabba, your doctor.
Thank you.
Aslaka Rabba to Alan. Service Tovos.
We'll see you
Sure.
about my back.
Right.
Almost.
Rabbi Levitt, thank you. See you.
All the best, Roy.